The Hunt for Red October. Tom Clancy, TSR. Tom Clancy's best-selling novel is now a game. This action-packed board game captures the spine-chilling tension of the book. Easy to learn, hundreds of full-color pieces representing ships, subs, air squadrons, and task forces. 8 dramatic scenarios. Is ages 12 and up. We have The Hunt for Red October by Tom Clancy. First was a book, then it was a game, then they made a movie out of it. They also have other great Tom Clancy games on VHS, Tom Clancy movies on VHS, Tom Clancy games on board by TSR, and of course they got Tom Clancy, and there's plenty of Tom Clancy novels out there. Plus they also now have Tom Clancy video games like The Division and others. Look at what you get. You get a full-color game board of the North Atlantic from the coast of Europe to the Africa to North America. 144 stand-up ships, counters, battleships, carriers, frigates, missile cruisers, submarines, of course. Plus task forces and decoys. 160 counters. NATO and Soviet aircraft, airstrips, and detection markers. 2 full-color task force display cards, 1 for each set. A full-color battle board, 144 plastic bases, 4 dice, 32-page rulebook containing both the rules and the scenarios. The hunt is on. A Soviet submarine, the most powerful vessel ever to put in the sea, has disappeared. Captain Markio Ramos has made a fateful decision. Red October is heading west, but with the entire Soviet Navy with orders to destroy on contact. In pursuit, can Romanes make it to the safety of the U.S. port? Tom Clancy's best-selling novel, The Hunt for Red October, is a thrilling tale of modern naval combat in the North Atlantic. The Hunt for Red October board game captures all the tensions and excitements of NATO versus Soviet conflict of the high seas. Swift and deadly sailors hunch over millions of dollars worth of electronics, trying to find and identify enemy ships and submarines. Once discovered, guided missiles strike across miles of open water, relentlessly homing in on the target as targets frantically try to escape. The Hunt for Red October is an accurate simulation of the realities of the modern naval warfare. Yet the basic rules are easy to learn. As a Soviet or NATO commando, you control the most modern fleets in the water. Nuclear-powered subs, frigates, cruisers, destroyers, battleships, aircraft carriers, and more. And also, dozens of squadrons of the finest planes ever built. MiG-31s, Blackfire bombers, F-14s, Harriers, B-52s, and Su-27s, to name just a few. 8 exciting scenarios are all included, ranging from simple, fast skirmishes to full-scale epic war between the superpowers. Plus, of course, a scenario based on the novel. Can you sneak the Red October through the entire Soviet Navy to safety? Or will you be eliminated? The Hunt for Red October is a 2-player game and is recommended for ages 12 and up. So let's check out The Hunt for Red October. Made by TSR UK, 1988 games. So modern, maybe not so modern now that it's 2019. But anyway. Oh! See, here's the attack battle board. See, this is attack battle board. Then we got the Soviet task force cards and the NATO task force cards. So that's cool. And there's the board. Here's, of course, the rules. The rules, which I'll show you later. And this particular copy hasn't even been punched out yet. Here's all those aeroplanes. Well, I mean, it's been punched out when it comes to the ships, but someone didn't get around to punching out the aeroplanes and the airstrips and the communication areas. Blue is, of course, NATO, which is NATO is a North American Trade Alliance or organization. Basically, NATO is America, Britain, and Canada, but America's got most of the stuff. Yeah, it's not a very good deal for us in NATO. Worst, as Donald Trump said, worst trade deal in United States history, NATO. And then you got, of course, the Soviets, which are the Russians, USSR, which in this game you can have America and Russia fight World War III, basically. So there's the airplanes and stuff. And then they didn't even take the dice out. So this game's not even been played, really. But as you can see, there's all these different ships. Let me make them organized where you can see them. Well, that was a little small task to try to get them all there, and they still don't all flat. But we'll show you how they have Task Force. There's the Red October, of course. There's various different battleships. There's Task Force pieces. There's submarine pieces. There's decoy pieces. There's battleships. There's carriers. There's cruisers. There's aircraft carriers. There's submarines. There's every type of ship you can imagine. And the neat little thing is all these ships actually have their actual names of what they were called in the time, and some of these ships are still actually in service. Actually, probably most of these ships are still in service, so that's kind of a pretty cool thing, because each one of these ships has the name. They have their names on them, and their names are the actual names of the actual ships in real life. So that's kind of cool, because Tom Clancy likes to make his games accurate, I guess is the word to use. Now we're gonna look at the huge board. See, we got this huge board. See the huge board? The name of the game, different ports, different markers, different ports. So we got America here, Europe here, and Russia is in the middle, Greenland. So we got some land areas for our ships, but there's no actual land combat in this game. It's all naval combat and maybe aerial combat. So look at the board. So we got the different seas, Greenland, Norwegian, Denmark Strait, the North Atlantic Ocean. All this takes place in North Atlantic Ocean. We got Canada, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Central United States, and Southern United States. Got a little bit of Africa over here. Mediterranean Sea, the Strait of Gibraltar, Spain, France, Italy, West Germany, Scotland, England, the Faroes Islands, Norway, Sweden, which is neutral, the Baltic Sea, and if we got Russian symbols and NATO symbols, so we know certain areas are controlled by Russia and certain areas are controlled by NATO. And the rules, it's pretty simple, because it's a pretty simple game. I will flip through the rules and I will show you the rules and the different scenarios that the game has for the Hunt for Red October's game. Here's the rules and the scenarios. Situation briefing, table of contents, credits, game pieces, reading the pieces, setting up the board and display, ship pieces, reading the map, excuse me, turn steps, land spaces, plan a turn, moving the pieces, ports, air bases, aircraft carriers, detecting enemy pieces, fighting battles. This is basically a little example of how you fight the battles. Counterattacks, attacking, hits on ships. And if the rules, they got optional rules like missile defense, jamming, fast submarines, reaction attacks, decoy submarine pieces, anti-aircraft, quality, doctrine, splitting attack ratings, airbase SAMs, aircraft on patrol, amphibious assault, SOSUS and standing patrols, shallow water detection, damage control, and tankers. And here's some examples of movement and attack of how the game's played. And here is a blank map which you can use to copy so you can do the Hunt for Red October scenario, because Red October is hidden, so one player would need a map so that they can keep their character hidden. And we got scenario 1, which is Arctic Patrol. Scenarios. Hunt for Red October game has 8 scenarios. Each scenario is a different situation with different groups of ships, aircraft, and starting locations. Scenario all start with a brief description of the scenario, orders the battle list, and forces involved on both sides. When aircraft carriers are listed, a carrier comes with a full load of aircraft squadron. Setting up describes where the pieces are when the game starts. How to win describes what each side's goal is. Special rules contain any changes to standard rules or rules that apply only to that scenario. The first 3 scenarios, Arctic Patrol, the Hunter for Red October, and North Atlantic Convoy, are good choices for the first few games. Scenarios 4 through 7, Mag to Norway, Long Live the Queen, the Gauntlet, the Amphibious Assault, use more pieces and take more time to play, so they are better chances after you have played the game a few times and are familiar with the rules. The last scenario, War in Atlantic, uses all of the pieces in the game and can last many hours as players battle back and forth across the sea. Scenario 1 is Arctic Patrol. The chill gray waters near the Arctic Circle conceal the first naval battleground of the war. Neither side has been able to bring major surface forces to bear, but silent ship below the surface of the sea, trying to strike the first lethal blows. And then we got scenario 2, which is the Hunt for Red October, which is based off of the novel. Scenario 2, the Hunt for Red. Can you, as Captain Marco Remus, skillfully guide your submarine from the chill waters near the Atlantic Ocean to the safety of the American port, or can you, with the entire force of Soviet Navy at your disposal, locate and destroy the traitor who threatens to turn over your most advanced vessel to the capitalist foe. One player controls Red October using special hidden movement. He tries to escape across the North Atlantic, remaining undetected all the while. The other player controls the rest of the Soviet Navy. He combs the waters of the Atlantic Ocean, setting up underwater blockades of submarines while surface fleets desperately search for an escaping Red October. If he finds it, he must sink it. Red October cannot be allowed to fall into American hands. So those are the first two scenarios. Then we got Scenario 3 and Scenario 4. Scenario 3 is the North Atlantic Convoy. Protecting sea lanes has historically been one of the primary functions of a navy. Never was this more geographically illustrated than during the World Wars. When battles against German submarines proved crucial to Allied victory, the North Atlantic is sure to be a battleground again, as NATO convoys strive to maintain the lifeline between American production and the European front line. See, here's some ships you'd use in that, and here's some ships you'd use in Scenario 4. Scenario 4 is MAG to Norway. With the main blow to NATO forces in Germany comes a coordinated drive, with airborne, amphibious, and mechanized Soviet divisions pushing into Norway. Their target is the strategic airfields that control the Norwegian Sea. The Norwegian army, hastily mobilized, offers stubborn resistance, but help is needed. The U.S. Marine Assault Group swiftly boards its transports in Virginia for the next several days. This is one of the most important vessels in the world. Dozens of ships are assigned to protect it, and the Soviets try everything they can to sink it. So there's Scenario 3 and 4. Then we got Scenario 5 and 6. Scenario 5 is Long Live the Queen. An immediate threat is created by the southern sortie of the Soviet fleet striking out for the North Sea. American forces are scattered all over the ocean. The Royal Navy must again defend the shores of England. So, in this thing, Russia's popping out of nowhere and attacking England. Scenario 6. I am still recording. Scenario 6. We have Scenario 6 is the Gauntlet. A carefully formed plan is set in motion. A powerful task force from the Soviet Mediterranean Fleet is to sail northward to join the Northern Fleet before hostilities erupt. But their timing is off and war breaks out before the task force sets out, including the new supercarrier Kremlin. The fleet must run through the heart of NATO sea power to reach safety in the north. See how each one of these scenarios has different ships that they use, so they show you the different ships. See, here's some more of Scenario 6's ships. They tell you where they go, which ships you use. Then we got Scenario 7, which is Amphibious Assault. Losses in the first phases of the war are heavy on both sides. Still, the Soviets take the offensive. A strong task force sails from Severomorsk for the unknown destination. It contains the large amphibious assault vessel Ivan Rogov. NATO forces must rely to defend this invasion force before it can land. And then we have, of course, basically World War III, the war in the Atlantic between Russia and America. If the Cold War stopped being cold, pretty much, and this would be World War III based on the war in the Atlantic, Scenario 8. The balloon has gone up. Central Europe is the battleground where the forces of NATO and the Warsaw Pact struggle for military supremacy. Neither side has yet resorted to nuclear weapons, but the fight on land, as often before in history, depends in many ways on the war at sea. The navies of NATO must keep the convoys flowing from America to Europe, and they must protect their territories from Soviet adventurism. The powerful Soviet Navy can put to sea aggressively, giving to break NATO control of the North Atlantic. And there is a game and book by Tom Clancy called The Balloon Is Up, and it's not called The Balloon Is Up, it's called Red Storm Rising, The Balloon Is Up. And this particular one, it is basically World War III. And here's a step summary. We got Step 1, Initiative. Step 2, first C movement. Step 3, second C movement. Step 4, aircraft movement. Step 5, combat. Step 6, end turn. Detection steps. Step 1, marker placement. Step 2, search. Step 3, battle decision. Battle steps. Step 1, initial target placement. Step 2, attacker commitment. Step 3, defender commitment. Step 4, air interception. Step 5, first attacks. Step 6, second attacks. And Step 7, battle conclusion. I don't have this game, but oddly enough, I have about 4 or 5 copies of this Hunt for Red October game. So if somebody doesn't have a Hunt for Red October game and has a Red Storm Rising game and wants to trade, hit me up. Because I will trade a Hunt for Red October game for a Red Storm Rising game. Since I don't have that one, and I have multiple copies of this one. Another thing I like about this book, the scenario book, or rule book, so to speak, is that each one of these, it has these little things that tell you about the different classes. Like, here's the Los Angeles class submarine, here's the Grumman F-14 Tomcat, here's the Kryov class battle cruiser. Here's the Alpha class nuclear powered submarine. Here's the Tekradungo class guided missile cruiser. Here's the Tu-26 Topolov backfire bomber. Here's the Cav class aircraft carrier. Here's the Nimitz class nuclear powered aircraft carrier. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's been my overview of the game pieces and components of the Hunt for Red October. Kind of an unboxing, since most of this particular copy of the one I have was still pretty fairly unpunched or close to mint. So remember that God is good all the time God is good. Jesus loves you, Jesus is God. Keep on gaming, keep on collecting, and comment down below some of your favorite Tom Clancy books, novels, some of your favorite Tom Clancy games, whether they're video games or board games, some of your favorite Tom Clancy movies that were made off of Tom Clancy novels. And keep on being a Tom Clancy fan, keep being a fan of my channel, and keep comment, subscribing, and sharing my channel, and keep on gaming, keep on subscribing, keep on reading, keep on being a nerdy and geeky and stuff, and keep on enjoying war games and other games that I post. And everybody have a great, wonderful day. And comment something down below. You can comment your favorite. Another thing you could comment down below is your favorite line of the book or movie for the Hunt for Red October. Also, another thing that you could comment down below is, out of the 8 scenarios, which one would you rather play? Also, something you could comment down below is a board game you would like to see me do a review on, or a action figure you would like to see, or a type of action figures or something, because this is Board Games and Geek Things channel. Later, guys and gals. Keep on hunting.